I experiment with 2 recipes using jackfruit, and this is what happened. In this video, we're going to talk about the amazing jackfruit and some of the amazing recipes you can make with it. Stay tuned. Hello, welcome to Nature to Tea, or welcome back. So today I'm going to introduce you to jackfruit in case you don't know it, and if you do, I'm going to talk about the benefits of it, how to prepare it, and some of the things that you can do with this great, amazing fruit. So before you cut a jackfruit, make sure you wash it thoroughly with soap and hot water and use a brush and brush it really clean, just because the surface tend to be dirty sometimes and may contain bacteria. So if you want to have an idea of how to wash it, you can check out my pineapple video because I use the same process to wash it. And once it's washed and ready to be cut, you need to coat your knife with coconut oil. I prefer coconut oil, but you can use other oils as well. This is because it has a very sticky sap in it, and if you don't coat it, that sticky sap or latex will get all over the knife, and it's going to be incredibly hard to cut through without coating it. And this is the sap right here, these white things leaking from the sides of it in the white areas. So as you can see, first you cut off the ends and then you cut it right in the middle. And this is going to be an easier way of cutting it. By the way, this is a 20-pound jackfruit, so it's pretty heavy. Basically, you just dividing it in half so it'll be easier to cut. And this is what it looks like from the inside. You have the core in the middle. And then you have the edible sweet pulp, and inside of it is some seeds. And there's some fiber stuff surrounding these pulps. They're very tough to eat. I don't think you should eat it without cooking it, but you can also make some tea with it, which I did. It's in my TikTok if you want to check that out. So I go ahead and slice that in the middle so I can get to the core. And basically you just want to try to cut the core if you can by just cutting the sides of it and then going inside the middle and caving that as well. And this is kind of a difficult part just because the core is very hard and tough. So make sure you're using a sharp knife, and also you can always recoat the knife as needed so it'll be easier to cut. One thing I forgot to mention is that it's best to put on some gloves just because the sticky sap gets all over your fingers and it's hard to wash. So make sure you put on some gloves while you are handling this, unless if you want to coat your hands with oil, which is going to be tricky to get these little seeds out of them. And by the way, the seed sits in this little sack like thing, so make sure you put that in the trash as well. So here I'm just cleaning up the actual fruit, taking out the seeds, separating the seeds, and getting this sack thing that surrounds the seeds. And by the way, save the seeds because they are so delicious roasted or boiled. They taste similar to water chestnuts, so they're really good. And I did make a recipe on that too. It's going to be on my TikTok account. So I'm just separating the seeds from the actual fruit, and I'm gonna cook the seeds later and using the actual fruit to make so many different things, and it tastes so great just as is. But you can also use this as a meat replacement, which I'm gonna go over in a little bit and show you this amazing shepherd's pie recipe. The fruit can be used in many ways. You can make smoothies with it, you can make puddings. I mean, it is very versatile, and some people use it in their cooking as a meat replacement, so a lot of vegans use this. And this is the fibrous tough part of it, which is called the rags, and I made some tea with it, which was also delicious. It's on my TikTok account if you want to check that out. Now let's talk about what jackfruit is and some of the health benefits of it while I complete cutting the rest of it. Jackfruit is an exotic fruit grown in tropical regions of the world. It is native to South India, but it is also grown widely in Africa and other countries. Jackfruit has a low glycemic level and it is high in fiber. It's a good source of vitamin C, magnesium, potassium, great antioxidants including carotenoids, which also includes anti-inflammatory benefits, which is great for the heart and rejuvenation of cells, promote healthy skin and hair, and is also a good source of protein. Some people like to cut half of the jackfruit and leave the rest in the fridge until they're ready to consume that. But I like to make a mess all at once so I don't have to redo it. And by the way, you can also freeze the flesh. So I decided to just cut the whole thing and freeze some of the flesh. And thankfully my daughter loves jackfruit now. So we did a lot with it, including this amazing recipe that I'm about to show you.
This video is sponsored by Self-Expression. The links will be in the bio.
And this is what the fruit looks like, up close and personal. And here I have about 4 cups of the jackfruit pulp, and I'm gonna make 2 recipes with it, and I'm gonna tell you the results. But the main base of this is 1 onion and 1 green pepper. Well, it has other colors to it, but it's supposed to be green peppers. And I'm just gonna cut it and dice it up and do the same with the onions. Although I'm making 2 different recipes, they both require a base of some onion sauce, and I like to add peppers in my onion sauce, especially green pepper, just because it gives it this nice flavor. Next, I'm also gonna cut the jackfruit in a similar manner. You can chop it up or cut it up however you want, but I like to cut them in like dices, kind of similar to the onions and the pepper, so that it can absorb more of the flavor. So the smaller the cut, the more they absorb the flavors. And jackfruit take on any flavor that you put it in. So it is sweet, but it also picks up whatever flavors you add to it. So here I'm gonna go ahead and cut it into small pieces. Alright, now that all my fruits and vegetables are all chopped up and ready to be cooked, I got my olive oil here, and I'm gonna saute the onions with the peppers in this frying pan or cooking pot, and I'm gonna add my seasoning. So I'm just doing a base onion saute for both recipes that I'm gonna make. One is gonna be jackfruit taco, and the other one is gonna be jackfruit shepherd's pie. So, but the base here is exactly the same, so I'm gonna use the same saute vegetables for both of them. So here I'm adding in my seasonings, and you can pick any seasonings you want, but these are my base seasonings that I like to use. The pink Himalayan salt, and by the way, it's best to use pink Himalayan salt versus regular salt, because pink Himalayan salts have some good minerals that's good for your body. And also add in some black pepper. Here I'm gonna saute this until the onions are translucent or a little caramelized. Once the onions are done, I'm gonna save some for the other recipe, which is the shepherd's pie, and then the other half would be for the taco recipe. And I'm using 1.5 cups of the jackfruit, adding it in the leftover sauteed onions here. And I'm just gonna go ahead and cook this a little bit more. I'll also add some taco seasoning, cayenne pepper, and a little bit of salt. My first recipe, which is the jackfruit taco, is just about to be done. So I'm using some organic tortilla flour, and I'm gonna add this jackfruit seasoned with taco seasoning and other stuff right there around the middle. And then I'm gonna add some lettuce to this. And also I had boiled some of those nuts or seeds of the jackfruits, and I'm gonna have this taco with that. And here's my honest opinion on this taco. It is good, don't get me wrong, but it is too sweet for my liking. So I think next time I'll add some more vegetables to it to balance out the sweetness. But this is the taco recipe. And next we're gonna talk about my favorite, the shepherd's pie jackfruit recipe. And with this I am using some portobello mushrooms as well as other vegetables. Too lazy to pull out a cutting board, so I'm just cutting it on the plate that was already sitting on. I'm just cutting them in medium pieces, and this is gonna go in with the sauce later on as part of the stuffing for the shepherd's pie. I am using the sauteed onion sauce that I made, and this is a little more than what I used for the taco one. And I'm adding about 3 cups of the jackfruit, also some jerk seasoning, and some beef bouillon. And you can choose to add any seasoning you want, but I want this kind of spicy, and these are like perfect combinations for it. I sauteed this for a few minutes so the jackfruit can absorb the flavors. Next, I'm gonna add my carrots and peas, as well as the mushrooms that I have cut. And this is for the shepherd's pie filling. So basically you're using almost the exact same things you use for the shepherd's pies, except for instead of meat, you're using the jackfruit here. I saute this for a few minutes and then add some tomato paste and keep sauteing a little bit more. By the way, there's no need to add water because there's some juices coming from the jackfruit, but if you need to, you can add just a little tiny bit of water. I let this simmer for about 15 minutes, and meanwhile I was prepping the potatoes for the shepherd's pie, and this is what it looks like when it's about ready. This is the other stuff that I was juggling with, preparing the potatoes, and I'm using 3 organic russet potatoes, and I'm gonna peel them and cut them up in few pieces each, boil them and mash them up to get them ready for the shepherd's pie. I'm adding in some pink Himalayan salt and boil this for about 20 to 30 minutes until the potatoes are well done. I prefer using coconut oil instead of butter, but if you want butter, you can use that as well. And I'm adding in some seasoned salt as well as black pepper. And I'll go ahead and mash these potatoes. I'm using a fork, but it's best to use a masher, which I don't have. I need to get one, but this will suffice. Lots of arm work, but it's okay. Yeah, so just mashing these, and I'm gonna add some milk as well. And I'm using half and half organic, so don't come for me. I know I made a milk video about the bad effects of using conventional milk on my TikTok channel, and a lot of people were coming for me. Oh, we've been drinking milk for centuries, blah blah blah. I was talking about conventional milk, but I do occasionally use organic milk with my cooking, and as well as my coffees too. I need some strong creamy stuff, and half and half so far is the only taste that I prefer to my coffee. But anyway, beside the point. Mashing, and just as well as everything is nice and smooth, but as you can see, it's not ideal to use a fork. And you can add in seasoning as need be. So when I cook, I don't necessarily measure everything. I just taste as I go and adjust the taste as needed. I think this fork is in love with me, or maybe I'm in love with it, but it just keeps following me. I'm having a hard time putting this fork down. It followed me all the way through my shepherd's pie recipe. But anyway, I added some of the potatoes on this baking pan, or Pyrex bowl, baking bowl, whatever it's called. But anyway, so the point here is you want to spread the potatoes so that all sides on the bottom and the sides are all covered. And I'm just spreading it as I go. This is fun, guys. It's like art. But anyway, yeah. So you do that. And keep doing it until everything is covered. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add the filling. Once it's in, I just spread it all over so everything is covered, and I'm gonna put the other layer of the remaining mashed potatoes on top and just spread that all over. And this is kind of tricky, but just, you know, do your best. As you're moving and spreading it around, the filling will move along. But as long as you do your best to have it all covered with the mashed potatoes, it doesn't have to be perfect. And if you want, you can create some designs or marks or whatever. I'm just having fun here. But anyway, once everything is covered, I had set my oven on 350 and I'm gonna bake this for about 30 minutes. Minutes later, this is what it looks like. Smelling good, looking good. Now this shepherd's pie is pretty soft, so no need to cut. So I'm just gonna go ahead and dig in with my spatula. If you want, you can cut it with a butter knife. Now I must say, this is one of my favorite recipes. This has the perfect taste of everything. The perfect sweetness, the perfect spiciness, the perfect fats, everything you need. And it's pretty healthy. I'm also having this with a side of the seeds that came with the jackfruit or the nuts. This is such an amazing meal. I'm gonna keep this recipe. Whenever I buy jackfruit, I think I will be making this. Every piece of bite is so amazingly delicious. I hope you try this. If you did, please let me know how it turned out, and if you spice it up with other ingredients, also let me know. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Also, if you're into interesting and diverse recipes, healthy recipes, or your way of becoming a better version of yourself, make sure you do subscribe to my channel and hit the post notification button so you will be notified every time I post a new video. I hope you have a beautiful, blessed day, night, evening, wherever you are, and I hope to catch you on my next video.